understanding comes. The human mind, or what we call the mortal mind. St. Paul referred to it as the carnal mind. It is the mind that is broken. It is the mind that has been handicapped by the book of knowledge of good and evil perpetuated by the religions of this world and even the educations and sciences of this world, is influenced in all their conclusioning from the horrific book of knowledge of good and evil. And after millions of years of coming onto the earth planet, it is ripped through the very fiber of the mental body. It finds seasons of experience in the outer world. A world reports back to the senses there is good and there is evil. The inner sight is shut off because the outer sight demands that you go along with what you are seeing. Horrible, limiting human phrases come forth from this minimized use of mind. Such phrases as seeing is believing. It takes courage and it takes passion. It takes conviction. It takes determination. And one day a recognition that comes from an introspection or an outer experience that demands it. That you step off this insane wheel that human beings are living upon. A wheel of birth and death and destruction that has demanded visitors such as ourselves and other beings who live in higher dimensions in other star systems and even the center of the universe to come to this earth and to elicit in a few who are receptive, in a few who are open, in a few who have not been taken down, a few who have enough light left in their mind to respond, enough sensitivity. Visitors are visiting this planet. Every day, human problems increase. Human solutions do not last as long as they used to. And the human race is boxing itself in which there must be a rescue. Humans must be rescued from themselves, and the planet Earth and all her kingdoms must be rescued from human civilization. And I say to you, precious hearts, your awakening or your spiritualizing, whatever name you choose to use, that began centuries ago. You have so many incarnations upon this planet. And now the hour is so late. By the year 2018, there will be conditions upon your earth that there will be no solution from a human state of consciousness. And there will be such a rush to get God into this world. But not the Hebrew God, not the God of the religions. God. And I have sought to offer you the most refreshing understanding. And I say to you in this moment, the application of principles involved in spiritual healing or spiritual transformation, the application of those principles of spiritual healing, whether they are in your daily life or whether they are in your business activities, requires a growing understanding. Your heart demands it, that you increase in your understanding and become aware of three things. One, God is individual being. Two, the impersonalization of all discordant, limiting conditions. Three, the nothingizing of those limiting conditions by your willingness to recognize and understand that there is only one power. The book of knowledge is the deception. It says there is two powers, good and evil. The book of life, that the major congregations of this world have hidden from their people. The book of life speaks of one presence, one power, one intelligence. God infinite, God individualized. And with this growing understanding, if you will align yourself with this, again I said, the application of principles involved in producing spiritual healing or transformation in your daily life or any business condition requires three states of awareness. God individualizing as individual being, which you are. Number two, the impersonalization of all discordant, limiting conditions. Number three, and nothingizing those discordant conditions by recognizing the truth. Despite the appearances, the truth is there is only one power. With this understanding, by keep coming back to this and back to this and back to this, and the understanding of these words increases in you, there is nothing left to do but to fall into a new rhythm of God living and stop the human living. And your path to freedom is guaranteed. Let's take a deep breath on that. And in 2015, this was my idea, that after 20 years and a growing student body around the world today, that you had gained enough understanding. What about the new students coming in now? There's so many coming in now. In cities throughout Canada, the United States of America, in Mexico, and in South America, a record number of students coming into the academy. The student body in Europe is growing every day. The student body is growing in Asia, in Africa, and a huge student body in Australia and many in New Zealand. I have promised from the very beginning, if you will all become family, if your brothers and sisters in the academy, if you can come to that place of loving each other and respecting each other, if you will step away from habits I spoke of years ago, if you will free yourself of engaging in the human habits of criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame, gossip, if you will disengage from them, within a short period of time, you will feel a lightness in your feeling body. You will feel your ability to generate love. And I said, as this student body grows, and then you come out to the large events, the big conclaves, and see each other, and love and respect each other, you would have two families. You would have your biological family, and there are some of you that don't have a biological family due to circumstances, but at least now you'd have a spiritual family. And I made a promise that as this student body grows, that the accomplishment of one student, of 10 students, of 100 students, 1,000 students, and today 8,000 students, that their accomplishments would merge into the consciousness of new students coming in and would become their accomplishments. No one is left behind. What I can do for one, I will do for all. I have access to authority from that place that each of you came. You did not come from another planet. You did not come from another star system. You did not come from a galaxy different than the Milky Way. You came from the brightest star that produces galaxies. You came from the very center of the universe, in a place that we call the Great Central Sun. It's the place that the universe keeps expanding out from. It's the place where mighty cosmic beings, creators of our universe, live, such as the Elohim, the Eloah, the Immortals, the Avatars, the Arceus, mighty creator beings of our universe. And that's where you came from. And when you left home, when you left the central sun, and you arrived on planet Earth, you weren't called the human race. You were called exactly what you were. You were known as the I Am race. And if anyone asked you, if anyone from another visiting planet asked you very important, bigger than life questions, you had the answer instantly. If anyone came to you and said, "Who or what is God?" out from your mouth sprung the words, "I am." God is I am. You would say, God is consciousness. And if you are asked further, well, who are you? What is man? And you would say, I am consciousness. Your visitor would ask you, well, I thought you said God is I am, that God is consciousness. And now I'm asking you, who are you? Who is man visiting this planet? And you say the same answer. Obviously, your inquisitor requires more information, so you are generous of heart and say, all right, God is I am consciousness in an infinite expression. I am individualized infinite consciousness. And in the Tree of Life class on Wednesday past, I proposed something next in this teaching. If you gain the understanding, and that is my mission, that is the responsibility that I have taken on, to keep teaching you so that you gain these understandings. And then we can say, it is the understanding that you are individualized, infinite spiritual consciousness, embodying every right idea and governing those ideas harmoniously, that produces your outer self a new perfect being and produces absolute perfection in your world and everything you touch. That's a big statement. Yet it is everything I have been teaching for a year. I am individualized, infinite, spiritual consciousness. That's the first part of it. That's ownership. This is, if you want to know the totality of all that I am, then here it is. I am individualized, infinite, spiritual consciousness. Now, if you ask me matters of creation, manifestation, then I will add, embodying every right idea and governing those ideas harmoniously into perfect experience and manifestation. That is where we are going. And tonight, I ask this entire student body, there are students in the thousands that order the recordings of this weekend as soon as we are complete. And I am asking all of you to cooperate so that I can take these teachings deeper and give you the means to understand them. You don't have to make a commitment, but even offer some willingness. A willingness to find a new pattern, a willingness to establish a new rhythm in your life in which you are more God living and less human living. Of course, to do this, to even attain this understanding, you have already accomplished a lot of things. You already know that the God of the main religions of the world is a lie. You have liberated yourself. So the word God is friendlier today than oftentimes in the unfriendly demands of religion that will place upon you. You found freedom. God is life. God is light. God is joy. God is definitely not duality. God is polarity, but not polarity poisoned by the human consciousness. The human consciousness is a handicapped consciousness. It has been hypnotized, and it's taken 12 million years. And I say to you, for several thousand years, you were preparing even before that great star came into this world 2,000 years ago. Even before Jesus Christ came into the greatest guest to ever come to this earth, you were already preparing, living lifetimes of undoing and removing the veils, building your inner strength to be your own being, not be a follower of something that proves to be false and full of damnation. Rather, to find a path that is generous and loving and inclusive, and a path that leads to greater freedom. A new student in the Vancouver area has been coming out to the Vancouver classes for about 3 months now. Very sovereign woman, very aware of the dismay in the world, has been looking around, has sworn she would never go back to the harm that religion had done to her and her family. And for the last 5 years had been looking at various spiritual groups. And when the messenger spoke with her recently, she said, I know I have found my path now, because I see that the students here are living it. It's not a pipe dream. I see that they are demonstrating it in their lives. I see greater joy and happiness. I see a faith that is so real. I see students that are willing to do their homework. She said, I know this is the real thing. And last weekend was a spectacular weekend that students in the Vancouver area and students came from out of town to experience what would it be like. What would it be like to experience 3 days of a sun? I promised to stay away unless I was invited. And I will let you know that he did not invite me until the very last moment. I knew, of course, that he would. I knew I could block him from not coming home. A mother always has her ways. That weekend, something profound was said.